nominees in this category: Black Sherif, Stoneboy, Sarkodie, Kim Promise, Camilo, Kiddy, PSESA, Joe Merton. Awesome. What went into picking these artists? I mean, being here already, they are winners. What went into picking them?
Well, it's a lot of work. First of all, let me also say congratulations to everybody in that particular category. They put in a lot of work. For you're looking for the category definition, which also serves as a reverse guide, is the fact that people must have had a song or an EP or an album. So a song, a hit song, or an EP, or an album, and these guys, take that particular box, and then from there you go into the artistry. You want to also understand exactly what they did in terms of that space, performances they did, crossover effect, dominance, global, nationwide dominance globally, how well their songs fared, etc., etc. So you put all of these elements together, and then you use that as basis to be able to determine who deserves to be in that particular category. So usually when you do this, you get a lot of names within a category, and you will now have to cut down. So cutting down simply means that some people may be a good fit, but because you have to cut down, they may not be able to make the cut. So you select based on who deserves to be there the most, and then you present that particular list to Ghana as the people who have been nominated in a particular category. So that's exactly what we're going through, and that's why we have the list that we have.
Okay. Another category: Songwriter of the Year. PSESA is there, Black Sherif is there, Perez Music, Famille, Diana Hamilton, and Irabna. What do they have over everybody to bring them in here? For instance, Blacko.
So you're discussing songwriter?
Yes, songwriter category. Songwriter of the Year.
Yeah, so basically songwriter looks at how the compositions of the music, so the technical wing of the board and the people that they work with.
Okay.
You did the evaluation and determined that these for the songs, these are in there in reference to specific songs, and so they deserve to be in this particular category, hence the reason why they are in a particular space. Okay.
And so for the next category, my producer's putting up, so for Best Gospel Artist category, for instance, PSESA, Joe Metal, Perez Music, Diana Hamilton, Celestine Donko, Emoji Music. Joe Metal, I'm asking someone who's asking you, why did Joe Metal get into this category again? This is for the purposes of people who don't know. They are asking
Best Gospel Artist?
Yes, Best Gospel Artist.
Because again, so when you're so there's a difference between Best Gospel Song and Best Gospel Artist. When we talk about Best Gospel Song or any of the categories that focuses on song, we are looking at the merit of the song and its popularity. So maybe the category definition will be able to help a lot of people who are unclear about how these things work. So that is what we are looking at when it comes to Best Gospel Song. When it comes to Best Gospel Artist, we are looking at the song and more, and everything else that constitutes your contribution to the music space within the year and the review.
Okay.
So clearly, if you look at works that have been done, churned out, performances or ministrations in this particular case, because we are talking about gospel, you would know how relevant the person has been in a particular space. Some even organize their own events. Some even organize 5 events, and the events were even paid events. So obviously, with respect to what you have done, there's a lot of weight, and so you look at all of the elements, and at the end of the day, you have a basket, and then you are supposed to cut down. So when you are evaluating, you look at everybody in there, and then you cut down based on who deserves to be in there, and that is what is usually presented to the audience.
Okay, Robert, clarify this. How many categories do we have for this year's awards? Is it 31 or 27?
So,
one of the messages we have, people are asking, why are we seeing 31 and 27? What's the disconnect there?
Okay, so what you are saying is what has been published. Okay. I think a few categories have not been published. Right. Some of them are going to be honorary, and so you are going to see them on the D-Day.
Okay.
So like on the D-Day, the people will be called and honored. So that particular category, or the categories that I mentioned, will also come in there. And I think there's 1 or 2 that is also going to be put down for the Vgma Summit, which is going to happen on World Music Day on the 21st of June.
Okay.
So so I think about 1 or 2 will also be in there on that particular day. So in total, that's what we have, and there are some award schemes globally that also don't present everything on the same day. Okay. So usually, we are just what we are doing is no different from, international norms or anything. It's understandable.
Okay, so for those of you who are confused about the numbers out there, 31 and 27, that's the answer. So you're going to see some people receive honorary awards on the D-Day. That's the answer. Okay, so Robert, because we haven't had you on here since this whole thing came on there, taking you back to 2019 on stage, the altercation that happened, okay? After that, I'm not going to talk about that. After that, Stonebwoy was called back. Shatawale was called. Did he decline, or what happened there? Can you give us like what happened in that space?
Okay, so there was a ban, and the ban was lifted. And once the ban was lifted, it was they were free to participate or in the award scheme. Essentially, that's it. And I think that it was. I mean, Shatawale clearly said that he didn't want to do anything with an award scheme. That's no hidden info. I mean, everybody, he said it openly, So that's a reason why.
Okay.
Yeah.
Can you also clarify what's happening with the Best African Artist nomination part, the category? How are artists put into that category? How are they nominated into that particular category?
Also, it's a blend of things. You're looking at their works putting out there. You're also interested in their dominance with respect to. Sometimes you are considering crossover effects. You're also considering their dominance even in this country. You're also looking at their dominance, across the country itself. And so it's a blend of these things. And at the end of the day, decision is made on who ought to be in that category and is shared. Again, for award schemes, one of the things you realize is that if you don't take care, you may have a repetition of names, because there are some big acts that are always doing and putting in a lot of work. And so you may, if you don't take care, you just have a repetition of these names. However, you need to also understand that, for example, if somebody's operating at level 100 and somebody's operating at level 20, and within a particular year, the person operating at 20 is able to appreciate or raise up their game to get to 80, and the person who's operating at 100 level just maintains their 100 level, even though they have huge, impact. You need to understand that the person that has come up from all the way from 20 to about 80 has put in a lot of work and also needs to be able to recognize. Otherwise, you have repeated names, throughout, because maybe the person is large and then they just keep doing what they do by virtue of what they are doing. If you don't take care, you may not even recognize the other people. So we use all of these elements to be able to help recognize efforts of people that have been put in that particular space to ensure that the scheme stays relevant and true to good works that are being churned out.
Okay, so what does your outfit look out for before selecting the best music video category? What do you look out for in the music videos?
So that's a little bit of technical conversation, but the people who have that particular eye, they review it from cinematography and those terminologies, location hunt and storytelling, and how sometimes even the content of the video is in sync with the lyrics. They have quite a number of things that they use. So at the end of the day, they are able to clearly tell which of the videos has got weight and which one doesn't have weight, or who deserves to be in there. So they look at all of the elements, and then they use that to determine who deserves to be in there.
Okay, and then Robert, voting. Do you think voting gives us the leeway, or gives the general public the leeway, that is voting bring out the actual winner? Do you think voting allows for that?
Per the guidelines of the scheme, voting produces the results that is required for it to produce. The scheme requires for voting to happen so there are three different kinds of voting that we have. Okay. We have the board voting, we have the academy voting, we have the public voting. There are some categories that have only the board. That is what we call the honorary, because the board makes a decision. There are categories that we have the board and the academy. So those are the technical awards. So by technical awards, there are some technicalities involved. So you have just the board and then the academy making a decision. And then there are some other categories. In this particular year, 17 categories that we have the board, the academy, and the public making a decision. So that we require the public to be able to play their role through votes. Then we have the academy, who are also required to play their role through votes. And then we have the board, who also play their role through votes. So all of these blocks, these 3 blocks, the voting happens and then it's put together. All of them go to KPMG Events Esthetician, who are, a world leading brand in this particular space, and they put it together and eventually share it on the final day in terms of who has won what. So really, that's the scheme. So for as long as we follow the scheme's rules and determine who a winner is, that is right.
Okay. DJ Azonto had issues with his song not being in there, and he wrote a letter. Can you tell us about it? You're the one giving us all the inside filler. We're just asking the questions.
Oh, don't worry. I mean, that's fine. So he felt strongly, like other people, that his song should have been in the most popular song.
Platform, actually.
Yeah, most popular song of the year category. And then unfortunately, it wasn't there. It wasn't there because, based on our reviews, it didn't make the cut. You understand what I'm saying? When I say something, a song didn't make the cut, it simply means that if you put everybody in that particular basket and you have, let's say, 20 songs, but you're supposed to present only 10. Question is, who makes it and who doesn't make it? So you begin to take certain elements to review who deserves it the most. So definition talks about a song, the most patronage, the song that's enjoyed the most patronage, and the song that's popular. But the question is, how do you evaluate popularity of music? So you will get into the space. How is music being consumed? We know music is consumed on the streets. By streets, we are talking about weddings, we're talking about parties, we're talking about funerals, we're talking about clubs, we're talking about pubs, we're talking about community centers, that kind of stuff. So you get information about what is happening in these spaces.
How about streaming?
So that is one, streets.
Okay.
Then you come to streams.
Okay.
Then when you go to streams, you also see how people are faring on that particular platform. Then you also note that down. Then when you now finally go to airplay, whose songs is being played the most, rotations on radio platforms, etc. Then you put all of these things together, and then you use that to be able to determine who is the most popular or whose song is being consumed the most, who is getting a lot of people excited in the streets, etc. Then you weight all of them and you determine, okay, so who deserves to be in our top 10? And then you now select that particular. So having done that, I mean, from where I sit, I look at a lot of data, I look at a lot of things happening. Sometimes you see some songs are very dominant in 2 regions or 3 regions, and for the rest of the regions, they're silent. Some are consistent in every region. Some are topping charts on radio and are also very heavy when it comes to the research from the streets. And some have got presence on the streets, but no presence on the radio, and they don't even have presence on the streaming platforms. So you look at all of the elements, and then you now determine who deserves to be in there. So when we did all of that, it just didn't make the cut. So yeah, we're supposed to select, I think we selected 10, it just didn't make the cut, so that's why it wasn't there.
That's it. You're getting all the answers here. Okay, we're going to the best female vocal performance. In there, PSC stars in there, Niela, Nyonyam, Sineso, Abiana, and Aduma. Wow. What do you need? What level of voice standards do you need to be in that category?
It's not really about your voice. It's about the vocal performance on a particular song. So you evaluate the person's performance based on a song that you are reviewing, and that becomes the basis for the selection. So yes, so we are looking at vocal dexterity, how you are able to, put your voice to use on that particular platform. And the technical team involved are able to use their knowledge of music and to be able to tell, who has done extremely well. So based on that, the presentation is made, and if the number is supposed to be presented, if it's 6, you cut. So you may get more than 6, but at the end of the day, when you're slashing, it comes down to those who deserve to be in a particular category in terms of the 6, and that's the reason why you see them there.
Okay, so what do you say when you're asked that, when people throw the statements out there that maybe the VGMA is favoring particular artists? What do you say when they say that?
Well, then it just tells me that I have a lot of work to do when it comes to education.
Don't they have legit reasons, maybe?
No, you have the right to articulate your views and how you feel. It doesn't necessarily mean it represents. It's a representation of the truth.
Okay, to another category, hip life and hip hop. Why do you put those two together? Are they not different genres?
So it's hip life and hip hop. It depends on which aspect.
So you tell us, because we just see best hip life hip hop category. That's what we see.
No, which of them? Are we discussing song? Are we
The
discussing
artist.
Yeah. So
artist.
yeah, because so it's hip life, hip hop. Yeah. So
Okay.
it's the board. So just like you have reggae and you have dancehall,
Okay.
but however you have reggae dancehall. So sometimes you look for critical mass to be able to necessitate the existence of a particular category as per our guidelines, and that critical mass is necessary. If you don't have that, then you have reasons to be able to create that kind of merger, and then for that merger to also exist, there has to be some almost similarities in terms of work. So technically speaking, because hip life, there's a rap element in all of that, you are able to create a balance and say, okay, so this particular award, based on the numbers that we have, is put together to cater to everybody in that particular category. If the numbers are incredible and you have a clear standing number of folks for hip life, and then you have another huge standing for hip hop separated, then it becomes easier to say, okay, let's have a category for X, let's have a category for Y.
Okay.
So that's the reason. That's a logic behind how some of these things operate with respect to the scheme.
Okay, and so for the best hip hop song too, we see Black Sheriff in there, Amarado is in there, Sarkodie is in there, Malcolm Luna is in there, Kwesiata and Medical is in there. What are the standards? How did these artists make the cut?
So it's best. Say it again. Best hip hop song.
Yeah, best hip hop song.
So yeah, it's
Black Sheriff, Amarado, Sarkodie, Malcolm Luna, Kwesiata and Medical.
yeah, so it's based on popularity. It's based on popularity. So they are talking about the song performance in that particular year. And so when we talk about song performance in that particular year, again, you are looking at all the elements. How well did you fare when it comes to the streets, and then on air, and on the streaming platforms as well. So just like I explained in terms of how a particular song doesn't make it, is the same thing that applies to this. You weight them from all the fronts, and then you put them together and use that as a basis for your decision making.
Okay, we've spoken to a couple of gospel musicians on here, and they have had the strong view that they believe there should be a gospel music award scheme. What do you think?
I think there are about one or two I know of. I'm not too sure what the names are, but I know there are some award schemes for gospel only. Yeah.
Okay, and they still insist that they don't want to be merged with secular artists. What do you say in the near future? Do we see certain subtractions being made, changes being made?
I don't understand that because they think.
Yes, because they think.
I mean,
a lot of gospel artists have said that.
That's understandable. A lot of other people have also said that they are okay with this, and that's the reason why they participate.
Okay, now let's come back to the Artist of the Year category. A lot of people tipping PSA Esther to win. If she wins, then it means we'd have had a lot of gospel artists now taking that award home. From where you're standing and from your outfit, you keep putting that lots of gospel artists who keep getting into that category. We never used to see that in the past. What's happening there?
They are working. If they are there, it means they deserve to be there. If they win, it means that they work the system, because they have 3 voting blocks. We have the public category, we have the academy, and then we have the board. If they win, then it means that a majority of the voting power that was clearly shown through votes was in support or was for them to win. And that's what it is, and we have no control over that.
Okay, so most of the stuff that happens here, the VGMAs and what you do, you have no control over?
Not most. We don't have...
Almost all the stuff that she tried to explain here, you said you have no control over, Robert.
No, what I'm saying is that we don't determine who wins.
Again, through voting.
Yes, so
okay.
If there's a public category and then we are expecting for the public to be able to vote, they said, oh yeah, we are supposed to vote and we are supposed to send messages and yeah, this and this and that. Okay, you don't want to do that, no problem. We've created free voting platform.
Okay.
Go out there on www.GhanaMusicAwards.com and vote. Why? Because the nature of the scheme is such that we need the public input in determining who the winner is. So you said you don't want to do that with, like, okay, so use a free voting platform. You have X number of people that can vote. They're like, the voting, if you vote plenty, it means that you're buying the vote. You're like, okay. I go elsewhere and I check. People are able to vote 22 times per day for a particular category, throughout. In Ghana, when you do like even 10 and complain, we're like, okay, you vote on a free platform. We need to hear your voice. Then you go to Academy. Academy are over 200 people spread across the country, and they are casting their votes from their corners. I don't know.
You have no say over that.
So they decide. From the north, somebody will vote from the Volta region, somebody will vote from east, somebody will vote from the west, everybody is voting, and we have no control, because the songs that is songs are hits. That's certainly, so they are experiencing them, and then they are deciding who deserves to win. And then you come to board level, they are voting. KPMG is standing there, and then you are voting. So yes, at the end of the day, you cast your vote. They take the stuff. The Academy members, in fact, the platform for voting is created by KPMG, and they share the information with Academy members, and then they vote, and it goes to them. You are doing SMS, you are doing whatsoever, and KPMG has access to your back end to be able to see who has voted. At the end of the day, we don't determine who the winner is. So,
okay, let's move to another category. One of my favorite categories, the best high life artist. Okay, Kwame Eugene is in there again. How did he make the cut?
Because he's an artist.
Okay.
So let's explain the VGMA. Let me call this the scheme sense, as an award scheme sense. The sense of the award scheme. It is not. I'm not saying this in a negative way. It's not common sense. It's not because I think, I feel, if this and that. There is a particular logic that the scheme uses, and that is what we follow. So when it comes to the artistry categories of the VGMA, we are looking at you, the artist, and the genre of music that you identify with. You understand? So Kwame Eugene identifies with that. Whether works done in a particular year with respect to performances, with respect to music consumption, with respect to things that he churned out. Yes. So you review that. At the end of the day, when you finish a review, it's automatic that if the person is supposed to be there, the person will be there. Now, your song may not even have made it in the the high life song of the year category, right? But it doesn't mean that it wasn't in the cut. It doesn't mean that it wasn't in the list. That's one. And two, the requirement didn't say that. It's not like it's a reason. Like once we look at your artistry, and your artistry earns you some a recognition, you will certainly make it. And so that's how it is. And then we have the song. But there's a conversation about whether or not because people are now playing in different song areas.
Yeah.
And that's a new thing that has come up, and it's before the board. I think we've had it for a number of we've concentrated this for like two years now. And one of the things we want to look at 90 days after VGMA, we want to be able to have a review session to see whether these things should hold further or not, because the artist, one moment you are dropping a song in reggae dancehall, another moment you are dropping a song in high life, another moment you are playing, so because you are playing, do we still need to have the scheme hold on to, I am this particular artist or I'm that particular artist? So really, are you an Afrobeat artist or you are a high life artist or what? So those are some of the hard questions. Hard questions we are going to ask, even if it means scrapping it. You understand?
And making others more fluid.
Just so that people can be fluid, so that people are no longer defined. So if people are no longer identifying with a particular genre, then there's no point. Right. So those are things that we are going to look at. But as it stands now, I'm speaking about the scheme from what it is today. If we finish and then there's a need for adjustments made post the review, then that's it. Why not?
Okay. So legendary musician Abule shared his views on how he thought the award schemes were affecting high life music. This award scheme has gone on. This is the 24th edition. How do you think the award schemes, or this particular award scheme, the biggest that we have in Ghana, has shaped our music industry's growth?
Well, what I know is a lot of money has been invested. What I know is that we've been consistent, we've promoted, we've given platforms for people to be able to showcase high life music. We've recognized high life music and musicians. We have, and we've done that consistently over a long period of time. So it's a good contribution, and we hope that we can continue to contribute in this particular way consistently. Some artists have even done international shows on the back of the VGMA, I know, from the start, and we are happy about that. So we pray that all of these things should happen so that we are able to promote Ghanaians and the music that they do.
Right, but a session of the new crop of artists sort of agreed with him and shared his views, going forward, because we're talking about the award scheme being fluid and coming back and forth, are we looking to maybe open the high life artist category? Are we looking to do something to it, open it up more, or there has to be something?
I'm not too sure what views you're referring to, but you'll have to explain further so that I can understand what you're saying.
Okay, and so going forward, is the award scheme going to be open, or certain categories pulled out, some categories changed, so that together we shape the music industry? Because when Ambili made that comment, the varied views people shared on social media, some outright disrespectful, sort of, put, this is our personal view here, sort of, put a dent on the man. So going forward, shaping the music industry as a whole, are we going to look at this award scheme changing, being fluid?
So there are two things that, first of all, I think that it will be fair to us if you're going to have a conversation about this, for that to be pulled up first before, so that it's not like somebody says in something that it feels like it's misplaced.
That's one.
And then the second one is, I've already mentioned that we already have within 90 days, we're going to have a review. Whatever review is done is going to be, if anything becomes the obvious way to go, certainly we will go in a particular way. I'm not too sure what exactly I'm supposed to touch on, but review will happen. So, once the review happens, whatever inputs that we've been able to gather over the period, plus whatever happens during a particular session, the import of that will be felt when we announce the changes that have happened to the VGMA.
Okay. Album EP of the year, Black Sherif and the Sarkodie, Jackie Can Promise, Chrisiata Jumetal. Nice. How did B6 make the cut? What, for instance, went into their album? Was there something particular stuff that was looked out for? How did they make the cut?
Well, so again, the popularity still remains one of the key things we are looking at. So you also want to check that. And so those are, I think that's the biggest weight in that particular. So again, you look at, if you are talking about popularity, you're looking at the consumption. So consumption from what angles? So you look at all the elements, and you're looking at hit tracks that came out from this particular album. So all of them are considered, and then at the end of the day, you determine who deserves to be in there. Okay.
So an album can consist of like maybe 10 songs, an EP can consist of maybe 3 songs. A lot of hard work goes into putting 10 songs on an album, and then a lot of hard work also goes into putting an EP. Why not separate the two? Why are the two together?
Yeah, so again, you can have an operational definition that takes care of maybe album from X number of songs. So for example, if recognition is for top 4 or top 5, so like you're looking at, let's say, X number of songs, so in that case, let's say 4 or 5 songs, then that is what you count off from. And then anything else is really doesn't hold water with respect to this. But again, it's one of the things that have been shared over and over again. So if during the review session, it's considered, and that's it. But otherwise, this is the operational definition to work with, and so we use that as a basis for what we do.
Best reggae dancehall song. So we have Konkra Vibes. How did these people make the cut? And Do you have a personal favorite in there? Are you tipping somebody to win?
First of all, my decision doesn't really matter at all. My decision doesn't matter at all, and how I feel or whoever I'm tipping doesn't really matter. Again, these are in there based on the exact mechanics I described. So basically, you're looking at people who did well in that particular space. Is this for artists or is for music? I don't know, is this for artists or is for music?
No, this is for the artist.
Yeah, so basically then we are looking, no, this is for song. Okay, so if it's song, then we are looking at the performance of their songs and how well they did in a year under review and the fact that they deserve to be there, and that's the reason why they are there. Most of the things that we've discussed, as a matter of fact, if you go into our category definitions, it should help people to understand exactly what informs some of these things. So to give you some amount of information that you can work with, and then because it's somewhat connected with our overall guidelines that we use in working, so when you get into that particular space, you should be able to appreciate, what actually informs that as well.
Okay, and so what's the surprise at this year's VGMAs? What's the surprise
everything.
At this year's?
Everything.
Oh.
There has never been a 6th of May 2023 before. Have you experienced it before?
Yes.
You've experienced 6th May 2023 before?
No.
Good. So that day is a surprise. It's a gift from God. That's one. Two, the people who are going to be on the red carpet, you have never experienced them before. If you have never experienced them on that particular day, performing their same role. Artists who are likely going to win the various award categories are going to be different. That's also some element of surprise.
Okay.
Performances are going to be changed. It's not going to be a repetition. It's going to be something new, something fresh, something beautiful. And the clothes that people are going to wear is going to be different. It's going to be new. So everything about it, albeit there's a clear structure in terms of we're going to have red carpet, we're going to have awards given, we're going to have performances. The content of these particular activities is going to be different from beginning to end, and with everybody, anybody that participates. So it's going to be beautiful, it's going to be exciting, and we pray to God to have a great event.
Okay, so back to the categories. Producer of the Year, MOG Beats is in there, Town is in there, Phantom is in there, Shadrach, Guilty Beats, Kill Beats, Liquid Beats, Samsei is in there as well. Okay, so what did you look out for in a producer?
I think the category definition says it's about people with the most nominated songs.
Okay.
Yeah. So that's where nominated songs is about people who have had the most nominations.
Okay. Does it also mean that you look at the particular songs they produced, how popular those songs were? That's the artist count when the board is putting the nominees together.
We're just working with the category definition. So the songs that have been nominated in the scheme, who got the most nominations, and then you put them together, and then that's what is put out there. So I think everything comes back to the category definition and the guideline, in terms of what the scheme is looking out for. So that is what serves as a basis for what we have there. Okay.
Audio Engineer of the Year. Wowzy. Those guys that are in there now, it's on our screens now. How did they make the cut? It says it Audio Engineer of the Year. But this one, does it also look at albums? What exactly did the technical board have to look at this one?
Yeah, so this one, based on the category definition. So again, I'm always going back to the definitions. They are there, and these things are also within the public space. I think it has to do with the songs that are within the record of the year. So the audio engineers are the people who worked on the songs for the record of the year. That is how they come in. So that is the definition, and that's the reason why they are in a particular space.
Okay.
Yeah. So I'm having to drum again that it's easier for people to be able to understand the scheme once at least they can, align or stay abreast of and with the category definitions. It makes it very easy.
Okay, we are opening the phone lines 0543664264. That's 0543664264. You can join our conversation. We're having a conversation around the VGMAs with Robert Clark. He's representing Charterhouse, the organizers of this particular event. Okay, so on the whole scale, Robert, what do you think sets this year's nominees apart from last year's nominees? We've had some who have been they've been nominated almost 6 times back to back, back to back. The new entrants, the new entrants, the new nominees. What's the different thing? What's the different thing about it?
I think the scheme looks at the scheme keeps looking at who is doing well within a particular year. So what is different about them is the fact that they were able to do something different. They say that if you want to achieve some different goals, you need to be able to do something different. They did something different. It worked, and clearly, once it works, the scheme will notice it, and when the scheme notices it, but certainly you will be recognized for your hard work you have put in the place. So that is exactly what they did different, and which has earned them nominations in the scheme. Essentially, I don't know if that answers your question.
Yes, it does. We have a caller who's joined the conversation. Good morning. Where are you calling us from? Okay, we lost our caller. We are looking at the next category. It's coming up on our screens pretty shortly. Best male vocal performance. Then again, this has nothing to do with the artist's vocal performance, does it?
Oh, it has. It has. Just like the female vocal performance I explained, it has to do with your performance on a particular song. So it's in reference to a particular song that has been reviewed, and it was technically reviewed by people with experience in that particular space, clearly knowing what it means for about voice texture and vocal dexterity and voice range and how they played with their vocals on that particular music and all of that. So they use all their technical elements to be able to make a decision clearly, and we have that which we have shared with the general public. Obviously you will have more than the number, and then you cut down. So at the end of the day, those who are cut, like those who make the cut, are the ones that are presented.
Okay, and so in wrapping up, Robert, what would you like Ghanaians to know?
We're happy and we are thankful to God for being able to do this for this number of years. It's not been an easy job, and nobody said it was going to be easy. So we're doing our best that we can, and we hope that going forward we are able to even do more and be able to make things easier and more exciting for anybody who participates. For other stakeholders within the space, in terms of musicians, as we go on, as we progress, we are hoping to be able to build a stronger relationship with them and be able to serve their interests even more. And after a particular age, one of the things to be looking out for is impact. And I think the VGMA crossing 20 years obviously started focusing on areas of impact, and that is a reason why you have projects like Vgma in schools, which offers us an opportunity to be able to engage with students and then speak to them about career when it comes to music business.
Okay.
So we don't really have schools teaching music business in this country, but it is clearly, this particular space clearly talks about producers, talks about people who write songs, authors and composers and performers, etc., artist management and all of that. So basically there's a lot of business in this particular space. And when you ask anybody, how did you start? For most of them, they tell you, oh, when I was in secondary school. Right. So we thought it was necessary for us to actually engage them there. And we've done a lot of rounds, and it's been amazing so far how we've been able to use the power of music to be able to inform the students to the relevance of education, that those who wanted to do music, and so because of that they were not keeping to their books and all of that. We've been informed that, look, there are contracts you'll be signing when you come out, so you can't forgo or bypass education and think that you'll not come and meet it else when you're in the music space and all of that. We explain to them entertainment, how it's make believe, so don't just see anything. Like somebody can be posing as a gangster in a video, it doesn't necessarily mean that's what they are. It's about concept, and they're just trying to enact what it means, but in real life they may be different, just for them to be able to appreciate the dynamics thereof, know. And it's been amazing so far, and I think that it's one of the things that we are very much happy about. Lastly, my conversation about this is for people out there to support the artist. It's not easy being an artist. It's not easy being a brand and a human being at the same time.
Okay.
So let's let's help the artists be able to get to their destination, to their dream and stuff like that, and contribute to our quota by supporting them when we need to support them, because really the job here not be easy. So that's what I gotta say. And if there's somebody out there that you feel very strongly about, vote for the person. Don't wait for the program to be over and then say, this person should have won, that person, use the energy, channel the energy into supporting the person becoming a winner, rather than coming to argue after when the person has declared not a winner, so to say.
Okay. Thank you, Robert, for coming. We are wishing you success at this year's VGMAs.
Thank you very much.
Looking forward to see all the glitz and glamour, and to all the winners. Thank you for coming. We've been spending time with Robert Clark. He's a rep from VGMA, and he's been telling us from Chatterhouse, between all the VGMAs and what to expect, some of the categories as well. We've spoken about it. And so if you're an artist and you're making fresh songs, these are the things that you need to look out for if you want to be in the next VGMA nomination. So this has been our show. Thank you for staying with us. If you want to catch a repeat of the show, it's on GTV again at 11 p.m. tonight. Also across social media as GTV Ghana. Thank you for your time. Have a great day.
6th of May, right? Is the finale, so everybody should, stay glued and be a part of the show. 6th of May, and tickets are available as well.
Yes, indeed. Thank you, Robert. Thank you for coming.